Gentlemen, thank you very much for joining this special panel. In fact, the first of its kind for Economic Times in Davos. We are focusing today on Tamil Nadu. So we are calling this the Tamil Nadu panel, driving development through R&D and engineering excellence. So what we're going to do over the next 30 to 40 minutes is to seek how strategic investments in R&D and engineering excellence can fuel innovation, sustainability, and economic growth, and what is Tamil Nadu doing about it. We have quite an interesting bunch. We have Mr. T.R.B. Raja, Industries Minister from Tamil Nadu, Mr. Veluswamy R, President, Mahindra and Mahindra, Dinesh Arjun, the youngest, I guess, in the room. He's the CEO and co-founder of Raptree Energy, a very, very exciting startup on the EV space. And Bharat Kapoor, who was formerly with Motorola, but now partner and global managing director of Kearney's Product Lab. I got that right. You were with Motorola, right? Well, great. Mr. Raja, thank you so much for taking time out. I guess you just landed, so you're probably jet lagging, but probably you're used to it. I want to start straight away by asking you that Tamil Nadu has, over the last few years, become the key hub for manufacturing and innovation. But, the Prime Minister calls this competitive federalism. Others are also trying to catch up and beat Tamil Nadu at its own game. So how does Tamil Nadu ensure that you stay ahead?
Not just over the past few years, the Tamil Nadu has been number one for the longest time. And B, thanks for accepting that everybody's trying to learn from Tamil Nadu. And we'd love everyone to learn from them. We are in this game for India. End of the day, it's for India that we play. Whatever Tamil Nadu does, end of the day, we want the nation to gain out of it. And of course, after the GST, the nation seems to be gaining more than Tamil Nadu itself. So, that said, Tamil Nadu is going, we are good at the game. We're getting even better. If we always stay at the cutting edge of tech, we look deep into the future. Been extremely lucky to have people like my chief minister now and his father then, all iconic leaders who could peer into the past, peer into the future, and they really solid foundations for Tamil Nadu to grow, especially ensuring amazing high-end jobs. If Tamil Nadu we are going towards the knowledge economy now, but we have been growing because of our investment in knowledge in academics institutions and amazing institutions. Almost 20%, 25% of the top 100 institutions in India are from Tamil Nadu. You look at the world today, from the leaders, all over the world, not from Tamil Nadu, from institutions from Tamil Nadu. So the bet has paid off. We've gained out of our trust in education. And our chief minister, he keeps repeating that. Even today, we are rolling out new schemes to ensure that more people get into that. And again, and the talent that Tamil Nadu has always created is upskilled even further. And that's why you see today the highest number of patents from Tamil Nadu, the highest number of engineers from Tamil Nadu, doctors from again. And every sector that we touch, we ensure that the investor who comes in is value supply to them. So that's why you have amazing schemes like the non-mobile scheme. It's a wonderful job with that. And that's why today, every industry that comes in knows that if they need about 300 jobs, I will give them 3,000 candidates who they can pick and choose. And then we would even upskill them to match their requirements even further. So that gives the outcome, the product that comes out of that investment is going to be worth it. Right? And that is why today we are not just a manufacturing capital, we make the best products. So made in Tamil Nadu needs to be a thing, and I'm actually pushing heavily for that. Made in Tamil Nadu, India, it needs to be a thing, and because we are up there when it comes to 50%, and R&D is where we're heading right now, because we see huge value, and we really want to be product nation TN, and that's where we're heading.
We'll drill down on each of these points, and you touched upon quite a few of them. I'll share an interesting nugget. I was reading a research paper from Harvard, and they came up with a very interesting statistic. According to them, and probably you know this, the highest number of women professionals, of women in service, is from Tamil Nadu. And they say this, to a large extent, is because of the midday meal scheme that had started way back in the late 70s and early 80s. And now it's bearing fruit. You have as many women, and in some cases, women outdoing even men, and that's all happening in Tamil Nadu.
Justice Party. That's when the civil school started. The second one would be it's not just the male. It's about inclusive, equity-based politics, which is ensure that women get equal opportunity and the kind of respect that they get. See, straight away when you're able to win, you half the population. So if you don't do that, 50%, you're wasting 50% of your strength. And that, I think, Tamil Nadu did way back, about 100 years back. It's not just 50 years, it's 100 years. It's taken a while for us to get here. And we, again, as I began telling you, this is something which we want India. This is something which really want India. When the rest of the nation enables its women, man and where exactly go. So yes, 43%, 43% of all the women working in my sectors in India are from this one state called Tamil Nadu. That is an amazing data that I keep repeating wherever I go. It speaks so much about Tamil Nadu. We've given our women equal opportunity, and we are enabling more women to get there. So we're just not sleeping on our laurels because we've done that. No, we're building on that now. Look at a scheme like Pudumai Penfitam, which pays 1,000 rupees to every girl child who goes into college every month, right? And we are also thanking the women who enabled this whole kids, the mother at home, the woman at home, the so-called housewife, right? And that's why we call it the Magalir Urumai Toge. Urumai Toge is like, this is your right. I mean, you built this nation. So thank you is what the Chief Minister is saying. Correct. So these are sustained efforts by the Chief Minister and the Dravidian model of governance, which has enabled that half of population, which is not been enabled elsewhere. Tamil Nadu has been doing this for the longest time. And I think we're seeing amazing results out of them. Because women at the workplace, they're amazing with their skills, very nimble hands. Some of the top automobile companies in the world manufacture in Tamil Nadu. You look at them, almost 95% of them were women, and the lines are amazing output. Even the Japanese are looking at the research and saying, give us such amazing products at that quality. That's something we are doing.
Great. You again, you talked about automobile. Tamil Nadu has always been, at the leading this auto revolution in India. Within that, now everybody's talking about EVs, and we have two specialists, right? Both your sides, and also Mr. Kapoor has worked a lot from Kearney side on the space. I wanted to understand that what is the state doing, especially to A, help industry, and B, also create demand
for the
EV industry and EV users.
Going the EV way in manufacturing was very easy for Tamil Nadu. We are the automobile capital of India. 40% of all the automotive products and components in Tamil Nadu. 40% of all the four-wheelers and 70% of all the two-wheelers. So why? Because auto are usually our traditional strength, and then electronics. We are an electronics behemoth. So both these put together, you get the EV very easily. Right? So we've done that part. We've managed the manufacturing. Enabling the market itself, it's a very tricky thing. There are a lot of inputs needed from the union also. Um, there was this mind block on range anxiety. That I think is easy. But at the same time, the market is also talking about thing, and things happening in the US is going to also have a big effect on this now. But having said that, I think India is well on in the EV. It charges every 50 miles an hour, 50 kilometers an hour. We are enabling that in a big way. We have plants with Hyundai and many other plants, many other foreign manufacturers, and we're putting our cameras everywhere. So that once the enabling system is already in place, and I think people will move further and further away from home, and then as that goes, and people see more the EV cars on the road, you do see a big number. I think the last 1 year has been big. We've seen a big jump in EV registration in Tamil Nadu. We see a lot of EV cars. So yeah, manufacturing we've figured. Rolling out EVs per se, it's a very tricky decision for the union to make. They have to take a lot of things into consideration, enabling our high manufacturing system, and also making sure that the grid is there.
Yeah.
You can't just roll out EV and expect the grid to take it. Grid has to be strengthened. So the grid is right now, we understand that. So as a state, we are already strengthening the grid. The unions also trying to do it so it's part with the green grid.
Yeah.
Line being built only for green power. End of the day, if you want to power it with coal, what's the use, right? So it has to be green. So whichever charger goes into an EV car, you would want it to be I think Tamil Nadu is liquid, and we're also looking at large scale public vehicles.
Right. So, Veluswamy, I have to say, Mahindra wowed us recently with your recent launch. I think it's one of the best looking cars. I haven't yet driven it, so I can't talk about the performance. But when you look at it, it is just outstanding. I want to understand from you, want to represent the largest conglomerate in India, that when we talk about EVs, everybody points towards China, whether it's from the battery chemistry, the technology, charging infrastructure, that technology. How far or far out are we from self-reliance?
So I will take the self-reliance, and both the state and the union are doing their best possible to support us. I've never heard 5% GST for an EV, and I've never heard 0% tax in Tamil Nadu. I mean, for the vehicles that are sold. I mean, when the electric vehicles are crossing 20 lakh rupees margin, and the selling price, and the road tax can be as high as 20%. So these two are biggest enough, apart from the PMI scheme. And the only way to succeed is the R&D. Here are three things that I will lay out. What's working in China, what would work and is going to work in India, and what's not working in Europe and
right.
Why 27% market share in China? Number one reason that their battery technology, the cell technology, gives them the range of minimum 500 kilometers in the city. That's the minimum one thing that you need. And the second thing is within 30 minutes, you should be able to charge it 80 kilowatt hour. That gives you 500 kilometers. Max 30 minutes. We do it in 20 minutes in our cars.
Wow.
The cars that are launched in 20 minutes, you charge it. Third is lifetime for the battery. So you remove the complete anxiety of the customers. What I'm going to do with the battery when I'm going to sell the vehicle? The value of the vehicle, if its sales value is coming down, the resale value is coming down, the people are concerned about it. That's about the battery. The second thing is about the vehicle itself. The electric vehicle offers a flat floor. That means you can have endless possibilities of space, technology, and the electric vehicle by virtue of its components being very less. And it has an electrical architecture and you can bring in lots of technology into it. Safety technology, convenient technology and comfort technology. Safety technology means ADAS, auto park assist, all these stuffs you can bring in. Convenience technology is something like the complete air conditioning system that is running, the music system, infotainment system that is running inside the car. Can you watch the video in the rear seats? All of the stuffs that you can bring into this car, that you're really bringing a very luxury home into the car. And can you give a live feed of 5G and the Wi-Fi connectivity, 1 Gbps instead of a 200, 300 Mbps? If you give a that kind of network inside the car, you can really do your work when you're stuck in the traffic for the 2 hours, 3 hours. And that needs talent at our cost. I will explain that in a bit. So that's the technology that you need to bring in. Third, the design elements around the car. India is known for its beauty.
Yeah.
And India is known for its IT power. And also the manufacturing power. Can we combine all of them together and create what's called as an electric vehicle that can take care of the floods, that can take care of the ground clearance requirement of minimum 220, because we do have roads that need a ground clearance, like in Europe where you are operating with 120, 130 kilometers. European cars are typical sedans and typical SUVs. You won't, unless you see the logo, you don't differentiate between the two different brands. But in India, they need fresh and they need a completely different cars. The race car concepts and the SUVs. They would like to see the exterior design completely different. The technology, we have, for example, in our 9E, we have 3 screens. And the 3 screens, they serve different purposes. And the navigation that you see it in the heads-up display, this is made by 250 engineers in Coimbatore. 2 years ago, I went to Tamil Nadu Industrial Guidance Department, and then we asked, in 2 weeks, we need to set up 250 engineers and software professionals. Can we get some space? Since then, the guidance department started asking me, and the guidance department from Chennai flew in the same flight that I took to Coimbatore. And then he took me 7 places. And at the end of the day, in one place, I finalized that was the out of the 6 floors, I got 1 floor. And the chairman was the SBB, the chairman is a big guy in Coimbatore. And the minister's office themselves spoke to them. And in 1 week, I did the deal. And then we recruited the engineers. These engineers have created software for the XEV 9E and the XE. Now, look at the speed at which we get the support. They would have told, okay, it's your industry, you please go and search for the land, search for the setup and all this. So it's if we have to beat China and be ahead of it, you have to invest in technology and bring the technology into the car. Convenience, comfort, and this. The battery has to be a life of the worry of the past. You cannot bring that in.
Saying that is possible.
And that is possible and the affordable price. Unless you do the design, engineering, and development locally,
Right.
you cannot bring these investment. The development investments you cannot bring it. Right. So if the development investments are very high, of course you will charge it per piece, and then the prices will go higher. And the localization of the component is one thing to get the prices down. Local development, local software engineering, IT is the biggest strength of India. Can we use that? Now the electric vehicles are software on wheels. Can we use that software and beat China? And that's exactly what we need to do. And then the entire southern region is known for software. And the software that we created for BE6 and 9E are coming from India. So the technologies that the ICE vehicles have not seen, the augmented reality in front of you, in front of the driver, the semi-active suspension, which used to be in in MEC, not even in BMW cars. And the both cars, BEV6 and XEV9E, they offer the semi-active suspension. You bring in the technologies, you give this experience to these Indian customers at a price that is 1/3, and that will propel the whole India into the global stage.
Right.
That's the only way to do it.
You're basically saying we can create whatever China is creating and go one up
Better.
but the only space will be, the problem will be with the battery, with the cell.
You shouldn't go take a ICE vehicle and try to convert it.
Right.
And then give 40 kilowatt hour,
Absolutely.
which gives 300, 400 kilometers, and you are nowhere there. Take it a big bet of 80 kilowatt hour, and the 80 kilowatt hour gives you 500 kilometers and removes your range anxiety. That's the way forward.
Dinesh, when you were setting up along with your other co-founders, Raptree, why did you choose Tamil Nadu? Is it because it's your home state, or as our panelists were talking about, there are some inherent advantages of of the state or talent or other industry policies that the state enables that made you finalize that plan?
No, I think it's a combination of both, but honestly, to start off with, to be very, I mean, if I were completely honest, we started in Chennai because we knew, obviously myself, my co-founders, Kirti and Karthik, we knew the ecosystem very well.
Yeah.
So, we were clear that it was an obvious decision to start in Chennai, irrespective of, what we're going to get. But, if you looked at our journey, even before we raised our first round of capital, we actually signed up an MOU with Guidance Team, which kind of accelerated our growth from there, right? So now we're not just a company with a concept and an idea to do something, but also the backing saying that, okay, let's say we want to put again a couple of engineers, maybe a couple of years out of college, trying to attempt something extremely large here, right? So it's going to be a challenge wherever I go, even with the best risk taking VC, it's always going to be a question about making being a B2C OEM is not an easy task, right? So I think that's where we kind of got the support first from Guidance, and then later on, obviously, 2 years after we incorporated, startup team was set up, and then they started helping us. But if you look at it, before we raised our first check, we got an MOU saying, okay, this is the support that the state will be giving the company, again, provided we hit certain deadlines. I mean, so milestones. But yeah, so that kind of really helped us accelerate growth, yeah. But apart from just government support, the other beautiful thing, and this is something that I've been talking about in multiple places, is Chennai becoming a deep tech capital of the world. Today, or rather, deep tech capital of India. I'm sorry. Today, if
I think we should say
the reason I say that is obviously it started Raptree, but for 4 years out of the 5 years of our existence has been a pure R&D firm. Till about last year, our average age of about 90 odd people was 24, right? And I tell everyone this, that I don't think we would have been able to come this far if we were in any other state, any other city. I obviously don't want to name city, because there are a couple of things, and it's not just about cost, it's also about culture, right? Building a deep tech R&D firm means I need to have people stick with the company for at least a certain period of time. Because it's not like manufacturing where the process is established and you keep repeating it, right? Like, you need people to kind of stick through bad times, tough times, and just attrition in Chennai is low, not just because we pay better or it's not. I think it's just how it is in culture, where people are a lot more sticky, if I would say.
But if someone from outside of Tamil Nadu wants to understand, what is the guidance that a Guidance Tamil Nadu provides, or now that you have the startup, platform, what exactly, do they offer? I mean, in terms of, it just cannot be fiscal incentive. There has to be much more than that.
No, purely speaking from an external person, right? So somebody who's not, again, This is my third venture. I've done business in Tamil Nadu. I have some visibility, but for somebody coming from outside of Tamil Nadu, or even from outside of India, the uh, first thing that unfortunately because of pop culture is that it's very difficult to do business in India, right? That's the first thing that people come with, and I think guidance is done. I mean, for us at least, we've got every other month we reach out to guidance requesting for support in different departments because they make it extremely easy. It's a single point window system, and in a true sense of that, right? It's not some website portal that you log in, but you actually you have people who there's one point of contact who you can reach out to who can help you out with any obstacle that you might come across. So I think that's irrespective of whether it's deploying capital, getting a property, setting up, getting approvals. Irrespective of that.
Just one was
Bharat, you have the advantage of, looking at India as, and you have the outside in perspective as well. Now, when you look at, because you have centers also in Shanghai, your centers in Europe, in Bay Area, also in India, what are still the challenges you feel the EV industry is facing? We are all talking about the potential, but to reach that potential quickly, what is it that states like Tamil Nadu and the government, central government in New Delhi needs to do to really facilitate? A lot has been talked about PLI, a lot has been talked about the FAME subsidy scheme, but beyond that, for a true organic partnership between the state, the state government or central government and private sector, what do we need?
Thank you. Can I take the liberty of touching on R&D a little bit? So I'll start with that, and I'll give you an answer as an advisor and it was a little joke when you said, why not capital of the world? But there is something to it, right? And Mr. Veluswamy was talking about the various technical elements, right? So let's just assume in of this interview, I were to advise you. My view of EV is pretty straightforward. There is the battery. There is the electronics, which gets broken into two parts, the power management and all the autonomous driving, and let's call it safety as the word you use. And then it's the chassis. I have very little interest in the chassis, not because it's not important. He's solving that problem. His customers demand the most prettiest cars. That will happen. Design, and we have a lot of people. Now comes the question, where do we put our money? Are we going to try to replicate something that is already in the market? Or are we going to put money for the next generation of the technology? You ask me, I would get your batteries from wherever you are getting. You guys have solved the problem. Let's not solve. Find the next technology. Yes. Because lithium-ion batteries are not sustainable in the long run. There is a problem. And by the way, there was this rumor every 6 years, 8 years, you have to change your battery. I just upgraded my car after 8 years. The battery still works. I lost 20 miles in range. It used to be 240, went down to, and I'm talking in miles, so kilometers. Went from 240 to 220 in 8 years. Not a big deal. So I think, number one, which is foremost, if you want to be the deep capital of the world, it's as straight. If you just want to create cars, I think India is doing well. Yeah. Some of the cars out there, I was sitting in one of the EVs made in India. I was actually surprised for the cost and the performance that is being put together. And I've been studying EVs for a while now. Personally, I've been spending. Then comes the question about power electronics. And this is where both these gentlemen touched upon. Software. We are the embedded capital, or I would say India is the embedded capital of the world. And there are not many embedded engineers anywhere else. Secondly is the research that is going on in that space. Can we create the architecture for future that becomes the platform that the world adopts? Now, why do we have a leg, or why does India have a leg? The number of cars and the amount of data that will be generated out of it is going to outpace everybody on the planet. We just have too many people. Too many people will have too many cars, and we'll have a lot of data. And the beauty is we'll have that kind of data that cannot be generated anyway. Okay. I don't think Elon Musk is keeping his cars to have a cow come in front of it. You will have to deal with that. And your autonomous driving has possibility to be near perfect. Right? And if you are able to do those, I think that if I had the role of putting my money, I would first put my money on the next generation battery technology. Now, it's a little bit tricky. Do we do solid state? Do we something else? Solid state is supposed to become commercial in 27. Samsung and all are already playing in that. That's a tricky, it's like a VC type question, who you're going to back. But I would not back every technology. I would pick a winner, maybe two if you are generous enough. And then like the no regret move is where Mr. Veluswamy was going. The embedded software, following both the below the skin and above the skin by the customer. Those are two areas I would invest. Okay. So now comes the question about what to do. I think I kind of answered that in a sense. 5 years ago, I would have had a different answer to it. PLIs were important and things like that. You know, the perception at the global level was that we still don't have international level cars. I don't know if anybody can say that. Like what we are saying. By the way, compliment to you. Last month, my team in India, or they're like, we should read this one. Very interesting. Think differently. And I was having this conversation yesterday with a few folks here. Our generation came out of a little bit of adversity. India was not a very rich nation at that time. So we knew how to do things frugally. Our generation hasn't lost it. And I see that if we can bring that mentality as well as the depth of engineering, I think we produce more engineers every year than some countries have a population there. Needs to be put in.
So haven't you lost it?
Yeah, it doesn't. And it's kind of like there is that joke that now it's kind of becoming lame and old that, you know, we sent our probe to Mars for less than a movie. But that's very telling. Look, I look at it this way, right? Because I spend time on products. The amount of resources that get wasted in doing R&D outside India is in orders of magnitude difference. You know, I've worked for American companies. I know the amount of capital equipment as a junior engineer I could procure. I can tell you a whole 10,000 people company would not have. I had access to individually that much amount of equipment that an Indian company wouldn't give to a whole 1,000 people. There's a difference. And then they use it because I would use it once a week. Those guys are using it on time the slides matter.
That's what the company. It's possible for us to be a lot more capital efficient.
And I'm not, promoting that we should be extremely frugal. There's the balancing line in there that we should not like choke on innovation and all. And I would say one more thing, which probably you in your position, and I don't know, Mr. Veluswamy, if you need these because you guys are already a very large company, but for companies like his, there will be certain infrastructure. And I'm trying to talk about, let's call them labs for lack of better word, whether these are wind tunnels, whether these are testing labs, they may not be able to afford them. Creating access to them, and that also comes from, you said we have the largest infrastructure, so a lot of people would want to do it. Putting them to use one speed up the process. Once this is
what we are already doing in this market. There's good ones. Yeah, like one time so systems, software, and people can actually have the product special where they actually create the product there, and it's given at such low rates, for good rates. And that's why today you see so many people being so many of them. So already using a tank and all our innovation centers, which the government invests in the software and make sure that the startup gets a hands on it. So yeah, that is what, and I think this is the testing enabling side for the entire EV production. But the market that you were asking for, you should also think about a scrapping policy.
Yes.
To enable adoption of EV. But that said, ownership of a car is more like a home for many in India. So are we there as a nation yet? That again is a very, very deep question. So scrapping policy itself should also not cut into their strength to own a car and keep it. I think that again, as people in India, we should collectively think, make sure who gets what at which level, and enable the market, but don't try to really play into something who owns that, who for them somebody who owns it on is there. Yeah. So it's still very, very tricky.
Yeah, sure. I think it's a very important.
Yeah.
Because India is, if you look at it, we don't like wasting things.
Yeah.
You know, like it's a simple thing. The grams will yell at you if you leave food in the table. Just culturally from North India to South India. What if we actually and we are talking about R&D, right? And for me, R&D is non-negotiable. You don't want to do R&D, you'll be a great commodity player. And you won't make money, but you'll have a lot of junk. You want to create some like the world capital if you want to be, it has to come from R&D. Now, this is where if we can seriously think about, we are not dealing with an ambiguous product, as Mr. Veluswamy can talk, or with here with the Raptree can talk. We know what goes in.
Yeah.
So we know what can come out
Yes,
of it
yeah.
too. Now, I'm not a big fan of melting things and crushing things. Can we find a way to reuse it? And I generally like to use a statement which every Indian knows, system integration. I like to call it system integration approach to making hardware. How can we have modules in there that can be, well, it's a utopian dream. I understand. He'll say like, you must be having some very interesting things out here. Not possible today, understand it, but that is where we can push. And look, we have some phenomenal institutions in from I took over to Trichy and all those. Can they come up with ways to looking at it? Use some of that can make our products not only sustainable, but it brings the costs down ridiculously.
Capability is already there. Where this needs to start is at the policy level. So this is something very large. This will involve many stakeholders. The policy overarching all sort of industry. That something like that can happen. If we will get the things together on something like that, see
We are running. Yeah. I just want to ask you one thing, which is we talked about the Indian cost that is essential. But companies like Qualcomm and others, the global giants, are also setting up big research centers, R&D centers in Tamil Nadu, in Chennai. Using that momentum, what is the state doing to bring in more FDI, including R&D and innovation?
See, our big ask now from guidance itself, my own team is to go the R&D way, and is to look at companies which will bring in more R&D jobs. And let's say our focus is, as I said, my focus is on Tamil Nadu becoming a nation, right? What he was also saying, I reinvent something which is and we'd rather leapfrog a few generations and get working on that, because R&D is no job. It's not going to happen overnight. It's years. But then at that 10th year, you can be leading well. So I think invest in something that futuristic and investing in something over that long period, only few states can do that. I'll tell you why. Because Tamil Nadu is one of those states which has policy continuity. We have a target. It doesn't matter which regime comes to power. There is always policy. And I think instead, for us, that's one of the biggest pluses. Because we know that industry needs the time to grow, to incubate itself and grow. So, for ideal economy hub, it needs time. And as gone to Tamil Nadu, as Chief Minister M.K. Stalin has been saying, he's very, very about the next thing. And he definitely invest long into the future. I see a lot of R&D investments coming in. As a state, pushing for it, and we're going all over the world looking for those jobs. So that's why you
Yes, that's why
again, people come here for a lot of it. Do that. You don't believe in signing a new speed with people you just met 3 hours. No, we come here to start a conversation and see where policy is heading, see where industry is heading, see where the world is heading, look, learn, and put that into action in Tamil Nadu.
So you don't believe in making these mega announcements, and that 50,000 crore worth and MOU signed in Davos. Because I want to understand, does it make sense? If each state, including Tamil Nadu, coming here, there is some kind of cost and investment. Is it really worth it being in Davos? If so, I mean, what is it? What is the plan?
I think that we've gotten over the last few months. I came from the last previous places. When I came in 24, we started speaking. And then in the next few months, we started telling them what is possible in town. They told them what they need in town or from town. So the discussion went ahead, and then we did that. And now they're. I think that is how we like to look at these at MOUs. Japanese. We do the Japanese well. When the Japanese sign, that turns into investment. Right? So that is the kind of MOUs that I'm looking at. We've done that in the past. We've done the global investors made MOUs. We worked over a few months, brought it to that one meet because we know that these guys are going to come and they're serious players. Then we sign, and that's why when you see MOUs all over India, the conversion rate is not more than 20, 25, 30%. When I signed this in the global investor, when we closed that, my chief said, we'll definitely do more than 50, 60%, right? He said, this is going to be big. And everybody said, if you do, it's going to be huge. Then I spoke to my chief minister and he gave me a committee. He put me onto a committee where I lead the committee where all the secretaries on the committee are sitting to enable this MOUs to be converted, right? Now I can tell you that I'm definitely going to go above 70%, if not above 75%. So that is the way it works. We're looking at the larger picture and looking at MOUs being converted into jobs for TN. That is what down and all.
Gentlemen, thank you very much for taking time out. Really appreciate. And it was really, really exciting. All the very best for the next few days. Thank you so much.